I'm sitting on a block here. It's going to help open up my hips, so you want your knees to be lower than your hips. You can always sit on a stack of hardback books if you don't have a block. For this practice, you might want to have an extra block or 2 stacks of books that are the same height and a blanket. It's good for tucking under your neck or protecting your knees. I'm making this video for a dear friend who recently had wrist surgery for osteoarthritis. And so this, there's not going to be anything on the wrists. I do want to make a full body practice and pretty efficient, so something you could use to jumpstart your home practice, every day. So just kind of a template for the ways that you can move your body and get going again. So we're going to do our spinal warm-up seated. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just feel the spine long, maybe rock a little bit from side to side on whatever you're sitting on, and let those hip joints settle. Level out your chin. And remember the great wisdom from BKS Iyengar, who said that yoga helps us cure what need not be endured and endure what cannot be cured. So just focusing on the inhale and the exhale. Being right in this moment. You have everything you need, and you are everything you need to be already. So perhaps you'd like to set an intention for the day, for your practice. It is a good thing to show up on your mat so that you can be your best self, but even better, to throw out some energy to someone else who might have a challenge bigger than yours today. So if you'd like to name someone and set that as your intention, then let that thought go and come right back to the breath. And then you can keep your eyes closed or gently float your eyes open. I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see what my spine is doing. You can stay looking forward. So we're just going to do some simple seated cat-cows. So on the inhaling, tilting your pelvis forward, lifting your chest. And exhaling, starting at the base of the pelvis, hollowing out the belly. If it's okay for you to drop your head and round your upper spine. All right, so inhaling, tilting, lifting forward. And exhaling, hollowing out towards the back. So we'll do that a couple more times. Just remembering moving your spine in all directions is one of the best things that you can do for yourself every day. It not only nourishes the spine, I'm going to turn back around, even at the cellular level. It's helping to strengthen our bones by exerting force on the bones in ways that we wouldn't normally do. Get back on the block here. Okay, so then we're going to do some easy spinal twists. The most important thing about spinal twists for your posture is to keep the spine long, so no curving under. Get really, really tall. And on an exhale, twist to one side, maybe using your hand on the outer thigh for leverage. So we inhale, get taller. Exhale, maybe deepen. Inhaling, come back to center, get really, really tall again. And exhaling, twist. few breaths on this side. Good, and exhaling, gently release. Come on back to center. And then we're going to go side to side, right? So the other two directions the spine will twist. So rest one hand on the mat and look down at your fingers and just fold, getting really, really long on the opposite side. Keep that hip rooting down and the bottom ribs supporting you so you're not kind of slumping into the rounded side, the folded side. Good. Bug. So inhaling, come on up to center, and exhaling to the other side. So we're having this great fall weather here in Atlanta. Fun time to take your yoga practice outside. Better not to be in direct sunlight. Good. Inhaling, come on back up to center. All right, so we've moved our spine in all 6 directions. I'm going to come off the block and turn sideways again so that you can see the action of my spine. We're just going to start to open up the hips, but you want to keep your spine straight. So especially as we get older, working with a rounded upper back is not best for us. So just start to walk your hands forward. You might go 1/4 of an inch. Keep the back of the neck long. Just take a few breaths. And inhaling, come on back up. And we switch the legs so that we get the opposite hip. All right, so get really, really tall. Inhaling, and on an exhale, fold yourself forward. So this keeping the spine long is true with any forward fold that we do. Good, and inhaling, come on back up to center. So flip your feet to one side so that you can come on to all fours. And we'll start to do some core strengthening. So you're not going to be on your wrists, right? So we have a couple of options. You can just drop straight down to your elbows on the mat, or you could raise up a little bit using your blocks. So just making sure that you're doing what feels stable for you, right? What feels stable for me might not necessarily be the same. So if you wanted to, you could even come up a little higher. Again, it's just, you need to be mindful of your own stability because what we want to avoid is falls, right? So on an inhale, you're going to take one leg back, lean toward the midline still, pushing the elbows into the block so that the space between the neck and the ears is nice and long. So we're not even going to try and reach the arm forward today. You could just gently lift that other elbow, and the opposite elbow, you'll realize how challenging that is. And exhaling, gently release. So that's okay if you want to start to play with it. But again, just being mindful of your own body so you don't fall. So take the other leg back. Pull the low belly in, reach the crown of the head long. You see what it feels like to just gently take the weight off the opposite arm. And exhaling, gently release. Good. So we're going to do that again. Inhaling, take that one leg out. Then you're going to take it out to the side. See if you can keep the toes up. Just working that hip. Just flowing with the breath, right? So inhaling out to the side, exhaling back. One more time. Inhaling out to the side, and take it back. So working the hips and the core. Inhale, take the other leg out. Take a breath, and then out to the side, and back. Exhaling. Out to the side, and back. And exhaling. And gently release. Good. And come up onto your knees. So again, you could pad your knees if it's helpful. And if it doesn't work to be on your knees, you can either go back to seated or come to standing, right? So always a modification. We're going to inhale our arms to the sky. Interlace your fingers. Take your index fingers to the sky. So we're just going to flow from side to side a little. Excuse me again, activating the core. I just ate a couple pieces of watermelon. Shouldn't eat before you do yoga. All right, this next time we get to this side, we're going to stay here. Keep lengthening the tailbone down toward the knees, opening that top shoulder. Nice, inhaling, arms up. We'll go to the other side, get long, lengthen, lengthen. Nice, inhaling, arms back up, and exhale, hands to the heart. So we're going to come to a high lunge, again, supported. Make sure we have the alignment right, so knee right over the ankle. All right. Flip those blocks up. Curl those back toes under and lift the heel. Right, so really no weight on the hands, right? Just a couple of breaths. Nice. And then we're going to float that back knee down. Right, we'll switch sides. Knee right over the ankle. Curl those toes under and just lift the thighs. So strengthening the legs, strengthening the core. And exhaling, gently floating down. Nice. We're going to come back onto those blocks, onto your elbows. All right, so we can interlace our hands. Make sure the elbows are right on the shoulders, and we're going to come to a low plank. So, maybe we'll sing the alphabet song. Sing with me. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, pull the belly in. J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, crown of the head, long Z. Now I know my ABCs. Thanks so much for singing with me. And float the knees down. Or maybe you want to take some version of a child's pose here, rocking your hips back towards your heels. Being mindful of your knees. Right. Good. Inhaling. Bring your shoulders back over your elbows. So again, we're going to modify, just take a down dog. So knowing that your legs may not straighten all the way, that's not the important thing. The important thing is to keep the spine long, right? And just taking the ribs towards the thighs. So if you push into the block with your elbows, you're going to get a nice opener in the shoulders. All right, couple more breaths here. And exhaling, float the knees down. All right, we're going to use our blocks for support to come to standing. Again, knee right over the ankle. And back leg meets the front. So again, want to be sure and avoid falls. So if you want to, you could lean against a counter or a wall for your balances. You could hold on. You could have a chair on your mat. Just make sure it's not on a slippery surface. And we'll do a traditional tree pose, right? So you're going to shift your weight into one leg. Push that foot into the calf. If you like to do it above the knee. There's some bug that has just decided to practice yoga with me. If you want to take the foot above the knee, that's fine. Just no weight on the knee. Right. So let's challenge ourselves a little bit. Let's take our arms out to the side. So find one place to look at that's not moving. And then maybe flex the foot. Pull the low belly in and lengthen the heel out to the side. And then we're going to bring everything towards the midline. Palms face one another. Heel goes forward. And exhaling, gently release. Nice. That was pretty challenging. All right. So we'll go to the other side. Find your balance. Take your arms out. Take your heel out. Taking up lots of space. Keep a nice easy breath going. So challenging ourselves in healthy ways on the mat. It's going to help us with the challenges off the mat. And exhaling, gently release. Nice. Okay, so we're going to do 3 half sun salutations. I really do think I'm going to have to move in a bit, get out of the sun. See if we can make this work. That'll work, right? Okay, so half sun salutations. Again, you want to think about keeping the spine long, not rounding the upper back too much. So exhale everything out, take your shoulders up, back, and down. Inhale, arms to the sky. Soften the knees, exhaling, folding forward. Right, inhale, come halfway up like an upside down L. Exhale, soften the knees again. So we're going to come to standing through chair pose. Sit into your heels, sweep your arms up, and exhale, hands to the heart. And again, inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, gently fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhaling, fold. Drop the hips and come up through chair pose. One more time. Just move with your breath. Inhale. And remember, you don't really have to do anything I'm doing. You're on your mat. Exhale. Just do what feels right for you. Inhale. Upside down L. Exhale. Sit down. Sweep the fingertips up. Inhale. Arms to the sky. And exhale. Hands to your heart. Take a breath. Okay, so we're going to work on opening the hips. Maybe have your blocks handy. Do a little forward bend. Then we're going to do some warrior 2. Right, so inhale, get really, really tall. And as you exhale, fold forward with a flat back. So this might be where you want to stay, right? Again, being mindful of your wrists, right? Maybe you need to soften your knees and take your elbows to your thighs. And then work on lengthening the spine. Keeping it long, lengthening the legs, keeping the body weight over the middle of the foot. Using your low belly. And exhaling, gently release. Your hands to your thighs, pull the belly in and come up with a flat back again. So we're getting ready for warrior 2. Turn one foot so that the foot is parallel to the long edge of your mat, right? You're going to rest your hands on your hips. And exhaling, just soften the knee. Right over the middle toes. Inhaling, straighten. So the knees kind of go into the back side of the body. Outer edge of that foot is pushing into the mat. That'll help protect that knee. And then we'll stay here for 3 breaths. Just gaze over your fingertips. Feel like somebody's pulling on your wrists. And you're pulling your shoulder blades toward one another. Nice. Inhaling. Gently release. Turn those toes in. And we'll go to the other side. All right, you might notice the difference from one to the other. No worries. Exhaling. All right, so we all have stuff we carry with us from the journey. It's part of what makes us unique. This one will hold. Lengthening those arms. Muscle action in, muscle action out. Pulling on the bones to make them strong. Nice, and inhaling, gently release. And turn your toes in. We'll heel toe our way in. Save the sacrum. Nice. Okay. So hopefully, you're feeling pretty good. You've gotten moving. We're going to take ourselves down to the mat. All right. Just do some gentle back bending, active and passive. One more spinal twist, and you'll be ready to go on about your day. So roll yourself down onto the mat. Maybe you can touch your heels with your fingertips, right? Think about your feet pushing into the big toe mound especially, and inhaling, lifting your hips. Keep those knees from splaying out by engaging the inner thighs. And exhaling, slowly rolling down. Good, so this time we're going to add the arms. Push the feet into the mat, inhaling, take the arms up overhead. So keeping everything long. Nice. And exhaling, rolling down, bringing those arms back down by your side. So we'll take one more. Inhaling, pushing the feet into the mat, lifting the hips. Tuck your shoulder blades together and maybe holding your wrists, interlacing your hands underneath you. Nice, and exhaling, gently release. Good. Just go ahead and straighten your legs out. See how that feels. Take your arms out to the side, palms facing down. So take your right leg and scoot it a little bit closer to the middle of the mat. And then take your left foot and rest it on top of your right thigh. So you're going to roll onto your right side, slowly and gently. Maybe holding that knee at first. And then stretching the left arm out, bringing that left shoulder back to the mat. Pull the low belly in to protect your spine. Maybe the nose turns away from the knee. There shouldn't be any pain in the low back. So that moving the leg to the middle is also the same as moving your hips slightly to the right. Just keeps the low back from kind of crunching. Pull the low belly in and exhaling, gently release. Maybe stretching out into neutral for a moment. And take the left leg closer to the midline. Right foot gently on top of the thigh. And start to roll that left side. And then slowly and gently bringing your right shoulder back. Gently releasing, pulling the low belly in to support the spine. Go ahead and bend your knees again. Grabbing a hold of that block or stack of books, whatever you used. I'm just going to do a nice passive back bend by tucking it under the sacrum, so it's not under the lumbar spine, not under the skinny part of your waist, but under the big wide part of your hips. Right? Think of the widest part of your hips. That's where it should be supporting. So if you wanted to stretch your legs out one at a time or both, you could try that. Rotating the thighs inward will help keep the sacrum wide. But you might like to just keep the legs bent. So once again, bring your mind to that intention that you set, sending out some love and energy, good energy, and then let that go. Bring your awareness right back to your body. When you're ready, bending your knees, planting the feet, slowly and gently lifting the hips, and super slowly like a string of pearls on a dresser, rolling your hips back down to the mat. And when you get there, stay there for a couple of breaths. It's like rebooting your computer. So think if there's any pose your body's asking for before you settle into Shavasana. You can take 5 or 6 breaths to do that. So you could always tuck a blanket under your head to help support your neck, or you could roll it up and tuck it under your knees. So as you finish up the practice, we'll just get ready to settle into Shavasana. Right. So using support wherever you need it, if it feels good. Maybe the palms facing up is a way to receive all that great energy you've created in your own body. So we'll be here. It would be ideal if you just stopped your video and set your phone timer for about 8 minutes. And then come back to finish. But I'll keep us here for about 20 breaths. You don't have to count. I'll count. So slowly and gently start to bring your awareness back to your body, back to the feel of your clothes on your skin, to the weight of the muscles on the bones, to the energy of the breath just running up and down the spine. Then you want to start to make some small motions, fingers and toes. So getting going again in the opposite of warming the spine. Maybe it would feel good to take your arms overhead and do some kind of a stretch. So eventually, You're going to draw your knees into your chest and roll yourself to one side, maybe even keeping your eyes closed as you push yourself up to seated. So as you get settled in your seated position, once again resting the hands on the thighs, feeling the spine long, leveling out the chin. Eyes gently, softly closed. We share this wisdom from Jon Kabat-Zinn. He says, our ability to touch love and kindness and be touched by them lies buried below our own fears and hurts, below our greed and our hatreds, below our desperate clinging to the illusion that we are separate and alone. So even as we practice remotely, remember that you are not alone. We share that mysterious connection. The spirit in me honors the spirit in each of you. Namaste.